Today on Torch TV, we take a look at Central Middle School's very own student-ran news show.
We have a Ukraine student here at East, and on today's show you can find out his story and how you can help.
All that and more on Torch TV. Welcome back to the Columbus East Media Studios. I'm Abby Jones, and alongside me is Chase. How are you doing today, Chase?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
That's great. Torch TV and BNN are not the only student news shows in town. Central Middle School is home to a show of their own. This channel has been producing weekly episodes for 7 years now. Senior Peyton Meyer traveled back to old school to find out more.
The Charge is a video news program that we show here at Central Middle School.
Put it on in caps time. The entire school watches it.
It's more so people get a feel like what we're doing that day or like throughout the week.
Each episode takes 1 week to record, edit, and produce.
We have a period set aside for select group of students, and it changes every 9 weeks, and we film during that period.
We usually plan out what we're gonna do, what we're gonna say, and then we go around school asking people word on the street or truth or dares to make it fun.
We do a lot of news, so sports, we'll talk about sports. We'll do challenges with the principals and stuff.
There's a food review where they eat different kinds of foods and have kids review them. There's some talents that we show on the Charge. Also, we interview teachers, and just little segments like that. They change out every once in a while.
The Charge was started around 7 years ago after a stipend became available for a school newspaper.
It did not technically start with me, but several years ago I had a new English teacher, and our principal had approached him about doing a school newspaper because there's a stipend available for the school newspaper. And he realized that there was no way that he can do a school newspaper. I had said, well, why don't we try a video news, not like announcements, but taking some of the segments from a school newspaper, put that into video. And they originally were filming in the library, and I was usually the only adult in there, and I guess I got to the point where I kept kind of nosing my way into it. So I figured, if it's going to be in the library and we have a good area for it, we have a little green screen area for it, I might as well go ahead and take it on, and I really do enjoy it.
This video show has quickly become a popular class that students apply for.
So in 7th grade, I watched The Charge the entire year, and I thought it looked really interesting. I thought it could improve my social skills maybe. Also, it just looked really fun to do. Be on a show in front of the entire school every Monday. Who wouldn't pass that opportunity up?
Peyton and I were actually former members of the Charge from when we were in middle school. In fact, quite a few members of our Torch TV crew got started with television and communications at Central as members of the Charge.
Want to always remember some of your high school memories, friends, or even teachers? If so, buy a yearbook. Yearbooks are $60 now. Get it on jostens.com. Senior ads can also be purchased on jostens.com as well.
The Indiana Department of Health and the Indiana Division of Mental Health and Addiction are launching a youth advisory board. They are seeking applications from Indiana youth and young adults statewide for a paid position. Details can be found on your Class It's Learning page. Today was a very interesting day in history, and not just for things lost to time. Apparently, some more recent history for us as well. Let's go to Matthew Degner for some fascinating facts about what happened on this day in history.
Learning about history is important because without the knowledge of what happened, we're bound to repeat the past. So to start off this day in history, in 1811, the Arnold Nottingham textile workers staged the first major riot in England, breaking the machinery that was causing them to lose their jobs. The protests launched a movement that spread throughout the country. In 1918, one of the most devastating pandemics in the human history reached the United States as the country reported its first cases of the Spanish flu. In 1959, Lorraine Hansonberry's A Raisin in the Sun became the first play by an African-American woman to be produced on Broadway. In 2004, Madrid suffered a series of terrorist attacks when 10 bombs detonated by Islamic militants explode on 4 trains at 3 different rail stations, killing 191 people and injuring some 1,800 others. Lastly, in 2020, the World Health Organization declared that the COVID-19 outbreak was a pandemic. Fun fact, on March 11th, we've seen the beginning of 2 separate pandemics, and they were only 102 years apart. Let's hope we've had our share of pandemics and no more are on their way. Back to you, Abby.
Coming up on Torch TV, we'll give an update concerning the state of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
During sports, we'll talk about the awards given to our East athletes and what's next for them. All that and more on Torch TV.
Teens tend to develop a sense for who they should be through social media. Teens rely on it to make decisions about music, fashion, and they feel pressured to fit in. When teens receive negative feedback or sarcastic comments, it can really cause a negative impact. Don't let social media define who you should be.
You're driving home from school when your best friend sends you a text. Now, to check that text and send a simple one-word response would take you about 5 seconds. And driving at about 45 miles per hour, you would drive 100 yards. And if you're not sure how long that is, now why don't you double up? Now think about it. Was that text worth it? Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
If I want to get a signal and chase, it has to be very...
Hello, and welcome back to the Columbus East Media Studios. Next up, we're going to be looking at the updates on the current Ukraine situation involving Russia. Once again, here's Matthew Degner with more.
16 days into Russia's siege on Ukraine, airstrikes and artillery are showing to be Russians' weapons of choice. This morning, 3 missiles fell upon the city of Dnipro, reportedly destroying an apartment block and a kindergarten. 2 days ago, the target of Russia's bombing was a maternity hospital in the city of Mariupol. Ukrainian and British officials have called this a war crime. Ukrainian President Zelensky called again on NATO to put up a no-fly zone over Ukraine and said that NATO, quote, seems to be losing their humanity for not having done so. The assault on Kiev appears to be listening, but some of the Western leaders believe it may just be a calm before the true storm.
What has been the effect of this war so far on the Ukrainian population?
The latest numbers as of this morning's show showed that over 13,000 people have died from the siege and more than 2.5 million Ukrainians have been displaced.
Show choir auditions for the Columbus East Mixed and Trebled Choirs are being held after break. You can audition on March 23rd or March 24th from 3:30 to 6:30 after school.
The private DAF Hispanic Latino Scholarship is now available. You are eligible for this scholarship if you will be an undocumented or DACA graduate of a Bartholomew County high school and plan to attend IUPUC, Purdue Polytechnic Columbus, or Ivy Tech Community College Columbus.
That's all we have for announcements, so let's head over to Lydia Taylor with sports.
This week, many of our amazing seniors have signed to where they will continue to play their sport in college, and other impressive athletes were given awards. Sage Stahl made ICGSA First Team All-State for girls basketball. Cade Law was 160 state runner-up for wrestling this year in Indiana. Ashton Hartwell also went to state, placing 8th in the 285 weight class. Ellie Prophet signed to the University of Indianapolis to continue her swimming career after going to state this year. Last night, Chris Quesenberry announced on Instagram that he has signed to play soccer at Loyola Chicago. And last but not least, our very own Corinne Grivey was signed to Indiana Wesleyan University and awarded Senior All-State Supreme 15. Let's give it up for Corinne.
That's all the time we have for today. From Chase, Matthew, Lydia, and the rest of the Torch TV crew, I'm Abby Jones, and thanks for watching Torch TV.
And as always, try to be the best part of someone's day.
Oh my God.
That was a show.